4:15, we'll call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Sam Martin, Martha Eldridge, and Rick Morgan's here. Public input.
Well, I have to respond to a letter that I received from the town,
Okay.
and it's kind of,
Mike,
yes. And
what I might suggest, and not to shut you off by any sense of words, public input, you can if you want.
Yeah.
What we were just in our work session and discussed it briefly. What we would like to see happen, what we think might be most beneficial, you know that Steve is away for this week.
Yes, I do.
The moment he gets back is to have a meeting with you, him, and us and see if we can't get this on the path that it needs to be on.
Okay.
If that's agreeable to you, that seems to me to make the most sense.
Yeah.
Because right now, anything you tell us, we still have to wait for Steve to get back so that we can then go back and forth.
All right, the only thing that I'm worried about is he gave me 10 days to respond to this letter.
That will stop with us here.
Okay, right now?
What I might suggest, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the things he said that you have to apply for a variance.
If I build a new house.
Okay. I thought
That would
that,
be for the shop, what she's got there already.
I thought, and maybe if I'm coming into this a little bit blind, I thought one of the things that he said you had to do was apply for a variance because you had changed the footprint from the old shed to the new shed.
Well, I can prove that I didn't change the footprint.
Okay.
Okay.
Then just hold on and then we'll kick that off in the meeting. What I was gonna say was if you needed to do a variance, I was simply gonna suggest that you maybe apply for that so as to not to slow down the process. But if
Yeah.
you don't think you need one,
Well, no, I will do what Martha mentioned something to me about maybe if I went to the zoning board and changed it, I can do that while we wait.
and that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
What I'm saying is if that is a step that you need to do, then my suggestion is maybe start that step so that you don't wait another week before you start it.
Okay.
Because you'll have to get on the agenda and on their schedule.
Yeah.
The public notices getting out, it takes a
So
while.
if you want to start that, and then the moment Steve gets back, we'll have a meeting. I'm sure he has your phone number. Or if not, make sure that Laura has it.
Yeah.
And we'll get a hold of you and we'll have a meeting and get everybody together and see if we can't straighten it out.
Okay.
If that's agreeable. Now,
You might want to know that this was an 8 by 10 small shed, which was very, very dilapidated.
oh, I know. I'm familiar with that property.
Okay, this was a replacement for this building.
Yep, okay.
All right. We can do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Somebody else under public input? If not, we'll start into the red folder. We have the minutes of the Selectmen's meeting which occurred on Monday, April 16th. I make a motion, we accept them as printed. All in favor?
Aye.
We have the minutes of the Selectmen's Department Head Work Session and non-public session which occurred on Monday, April 16th. I make a motion, we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Give the check voucher totals. Payroll for week ending 4/21 with taxes is $44,723.34. We had accounts payable for week ending 4/16 in the amount of $45,778.12 for a total dispersed last week of $90,501.46. Additionally, we have accounts payable from the water and sewer, which are separate from that we document and track separately in the amount of $79,537.23. I make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Again, though, for those who may be watching for the first time, we have a multi-layered approval system. This is just when they're finalized into the batch totals that we're signing them now. We have the highway department work logs for week ending, for 4/8 to 4/14, and from 4/15 to 4/21, which are here in the folder if anybody'd like to look at it. We have the federal form for our quarterly federal tax return. I make a motion, I sign it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a petition and poll license. Three-part, it's all three for the same. For public service, install a pole on Channel Road. I make a motion, we sign.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a notice of intent to excavate. This is on map 250, lot 8. This is New Hampshire Route 16. It's the Pike Industries. Taxes have been paid, and make a motion, we sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have an excavation tax warrant instructing the tax collector to collect $0.00. I make a motion, we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a request for abatement. This is on map 27, lot 29, off Grizzly Road. The original assessment was $20,700. The revised assessment is $10,900. Results in a refund or abatement of $210.70. The assessor recommends that we grant this abatement. After further review, it does appear that it would be very difficult to obtain permits to develop this particular property. It is merely an access point to the Bear Camp River. He's recommended adjusting the land condition to 50% good. The net result of this change is a revised assessment of 10.9. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First is a application for the veterans tax credit. Our assessor recommends that we deny it, and it's because there's an irrevocable trust. This changes the ownership of the property. I make a motion, we deny it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second, veterans tax credit. It's recommended that we deny it, as it does not have proof of serving 90 days active duty. I make a motion, we deny it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is a dual application. Persons applied for both the veterans and a elderly exemption. The assessor is okayed that this person meets the requirements. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The veterans exemption has been reviewed by the assessor. Person meets the requirements. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Another veterans exemption. Been reviewed by the assessor. The person meets the requirements. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Again, a veterans exemption. The person meets the requirements. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, the veterans exemption, the person meets the requirements, I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's also a request for veterans exemption. The person meets the requirements. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is a new form, and this is an application. Ash, this will interest you for property tax exemption for commercial and industrial properties pursuant to RSA 7281. You've all had a chance to review this. Do you have any issues with it?
No.
Questions, concerns? I make a motion that we approve this application for the new commercial and industrial property tax exemption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have another petition and poll license for public service. For installing poles on Hodgson Shore Road. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a timber tax report. There's no timber cut. We have to sign it anyway. Instructing the tax collector to collect $0.00. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have an application for an elderly exemption. It's been reviewed by the assessor. The person is over income limit. Make a motion, we deny it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Application for veterans credit. It's okay for the veterans credit, but denied for disabled as it is not a permanent disability. Make a motion, we approve the regular vet credit, deny the disabled.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have an application for veterans tax credit. Person meets the requirements. I make a motion, we approve it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a letter from our assessor regarding a piece of property on Rainbow Drive. Turns out, after investigation, that this particular property should not have been receiving the veterans tax credit in 2015 or 2016, in part because in 2015 the person was not, it was not their primary residence, and then they died and it still was being given to the property. Problem is, after investigating by our assessor, it was too late to recoup the money because it would have had to have been done by March of 2016. So at this point, it's been investigated, and this was as a result of an anonymous citizen's complaint. Whoever that person is, it has been looked into, the credit was stopped, and there does not appear to be an ability to go back and collect that money. We have also a letter from our assessor regarding the tax exempt application of the Ossipee Valley Lodge, free and accepted Masons. It's the opinion of our assessor that the property is not exempt, but we have, I believe, already ruled it as exempt. There's two processes. You can either exempt it or you can do an abatement, if you an administrative abatement. His recommendation is that the best approach would be to abate administratively the taxes for them for good cause versus granting tax exempt status. I don't think in the end it makes much difference. Have you had a chance to read this? Your thoughts?
No, I think it should stay like it is.
Hmm?
I think it should stay as it is.
But just that they're exempt.
Yes.
Martha,
I
anything?
agree with the same thing. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion then that we continue the tax exempt status for the Ossipee Valley Lodge as it has been decided in years past.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. We have a report of timber cut and instructing our tax collector to collect $58.50. I make a motion to sign it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a report of timber cut and instruction to our tax collector to collect $89.33. I make a motion to sign it. All in favor? Aye. A report of timber cut. No, a report of timber not cut. Instructing the tax collector to collect $0.00. I make a motion to sign it. All in favor? Aye. We have a notice of intent to cut wood. This is on map 16, lot 5.3 and 5.2. It's on Route 16 and Pauley Crossing Road. 186 acres, 40 acres to be cut. Elizabeth Gillette is the owner. Peter Farrell is the logger. The taxes have been paid. I make a motion we approve it. All in favor? Aye. We have several contracts for use of facilities. The Old Home Week Committee. First is to use the gazebo on 6/27 for an ice cream social. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is to use the Town Hall gym for a paint night on 6/26. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then to use Constitution Park for food, raffle, and fireworks on July 4th. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The contract for use of facilities, OCC, use the Town Hall gym for penny sale on 6/15 and 6/16. Schedule's been okayed by Craig. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't know why this is bad, because we'd already signed it.
I know.
We have a contract for use of facilities to the VFW, to use the Town Hall gym for a Pinewood Derby build on April 24th and 25th. I just don't see that it's been okayed by Craig, but I'm going to make a motion and we approve it so long as the schedule permits. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I don't know, but we might want to put a note on this someplace to make sure that Craig sees it, get it on the schedule. We have the payroll reimbursement request from Water and Sewer, reimbursed $3,451.05. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Martha, you give that one back to me.
We have a water and sewer warrant instructing the tax collector to collect $435. I make a motion we sign. All in favor? Aye. We have a request for abatement on the water and sewer side. The reason for the request is that back in January, they had 2 separate incidents where the water meter broke and the pipe burst. Further, the house caught on fire on 326. Results in a refund of $154.30. It's been reviewed by the water and sewer foreman, and he recommends that we okay it. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. That concludes the red folder. Old business. Brad, anything new? How was your vacation?
It was very good.
Good.
Yeah.
All rested?
Yeah.
Ready for us to pile some more stuff on
There
your
you
plate?
go, I'm
Okay.
ready, yeah.
Anything on new on 28-171?
Nothing new on that one.
About covered bridge.
Covered bridge, we're sitting on, the only thing I have out there right now is I've given all the information to our town attorney for the easement that we talked about before, for the construction easement to get down onto the river there. I'm still waiting to get that back from him. I'm gonna have him handling the whole easement part of it, so it gets recorded and everything, so I just didn't have a chance to reach out to him today to see what the status of that was.
Okay.
And on the sidewalk, I did speak with White Mountain Survey today. They expect within the next week to 2 weeks to have the plans completed with all the specs and everything, ready for us to get together with them and have a review of it, see if it looks like what we want to do, and then they'll be ready to, if we like it the way it looks, we'll be ready to submit and all that stuff, so.
Good. One of the things that we had discussed in one of the meetings, and is it going to be included on any of the plans, about, it's the decorative lighting?
No, I haven't had that conversation there yet. That's probably something we could either have, I can have that before he submits those preliminaries to us.
Yeah, I don't want to hold up.
Right.
And I don't think the state is going to care at all where we put lights, if we put lights down the road. I guess what I'm saying is I want to make sure that we keep that in the conversation so that when those plans come back, maybe it's simply a case we get an extra set of plans so that we can start to plot out where we might like some additional lighting in the village.
And that might affect how we do the easements too, or the 2 or 3 properties that we have to do an easement type thing on too.
If we decide, if we decided that's the exact location where we wanted one, yes. And then, even if we're not gonna go forward with the lighting now, and I'm not saying that we are or we aren't, when we construct this, we absolutely ought to put in conduit and that type of stuff so that we don't have to turn around and tear up down the road what we've done now to accomplish that.
Right.
I think in the end, there's pretty good support and agreement that some lighting would be nice. Now, whether or not we can do it right now or not is that's a discussion still to be had. But I just want to make sure that we keep that in the conversation as we go forward, that we at least need to install the conduit so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel later on.
Yep, we can do that.
Ash, anything to add to that?
No,
Okay.
I think that covered my concerns as well, is just being forward-thinking about the lighting.
I think that's been part of the plan, but, I know way back when I was here.
There's been a lot of talk about it. The problem is what was going on with the state, quite frankly, and part of it was caused by the federal rules. There was a whole lot of talk going on for a whole lot of years and not a hell of a lot of actual construction of sidewalks. We had spent $21,000 and didn't have a foot didn't have anything. And then yet for $30,000, we constructed several hundred feet of actual sidewalk. So hopefully we can get some of this behind us. On the White Pond ramp, I did have a call, which I relayed to my fellow board members, from Joe Kenny the other day. He is still on it. He was getting ready to have, I believe this week, where the DOT commissioner was going to be with him touring this area, and he was going to stop down there and actually take a look at it. Ed, I know you would,
While that happened, I went to Fish and Game and spoke to the director, Director Normando, and he's also looking into it. So
Good.
we have several people moving in the same direction.
good. And one of the other things that Joe Kenny mentioned, and I'm gonna throw this out there just as a possibility down the road, he said that one of the ways that it might have to be remedied would be through legislation submitted by our reps. The issue is on the actual ownership, which this goes back now, God knows how many years, probably certainly pre-DES. We're under the belief that DOT, or the now defunct Department of DOT, actually owns it. At some point, it certainly makes more sense for that to be owned and managed and maintained by the Fish and Game Department as a public access to a fishing pond. Because I can't imagine DOT is ever going to spend any money on the White Pond boat ramp, which is a couple of miles from the nearest state road at this point.
Did Joe Kenny mention the date that that meeting was going to occur?
If he did, I don't remember it, so I'm not positive. But he was gonna be touring our entire area with the DOT commissioners. That's my latest on that, so it does appear that at least there's still some discussion going on. I had mentioned to my fellow board members that I would think we should still take the approach at this point that we are doing nothing to that ramp.
Absolutely.
Till somebody, can accept some ownership and responsibility for it. We will continue to maintain our road, which abuts it as best we can without impacting the pond, as we always have. But I just think it's got to a ridiculous thing when they want, if it's only to maintain the road, I will never be in favor of getting permission from DES to do that. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to White Pond?
Nope,
Okay.
that's fine.
Proposals, RFPs for the fish hatchery, those are out. Those
They're out.
close when? Remember?
No,
Coming up?
I think the 20, that's the 20.
And the other thing I have on the old business schedule is the charge accounts at the transfer station. I had a conversation with Brewster before the meeting. He has a list of all of the people who have been authorized to charge. Many of them don't do it anymore. They haven't done it for some time. I've suggested they clean that list up, take everybody off that hasn't been using it for some time, come back to us with an actual list of who has been using it, and then we can make some decisions on going forward. To be honest with you, there's been some discussion by this board about eliminating charge count altogether. That might be problematical for some of the businesses. I'm not sure how we,
Yeah, I reached out to 3 or 4 of them. They're not, they'd like to keep it the way it is. It's easier for them. So,
and I understand why it would be, and it's not, and believe me when I say it's not that I want to throw up any roadblocks to any of our businesses. The problem had become that we literally had some that didn't pay. That we literally had to take the small claims court, and it has created, as is many of the cases. I mean, many times things get changed because of the bad actions of a few that punish the others. And we'll take a look at it and decide whether or not we want to go forward. And at the same time, even if we do decide to maintain the ones that we have now, the question remains, do we want to add to it? And that's kind of how this discussion came up, because we had another business request to establish a charge account. How do we want to do, do we want to take on more? And at what point does that become a problem?
The RFPs, the gym is 427, and the fish hatchery is 54.
Okay, the RFPs are out, or due back by the 27th on the gym and on the 4th of May for the
Fish hatchery.
work at the fish hatchery.
What's the charge count for it?
It's for at the incinerator, so when a business goes in and dumps trash, that we currently have had the ability for some of the businesses to charge that, and then we bill them at the end of the month.
Sure.
And it had become an issue with some, and certainly not all, but, so we're looking at it. Anything else under old business? Right.
Well, I think, as you folks know, we obviously had our Earth Day last
Yes.
Saturday. probably the busiest one we ever had, I'd say, Bruce.
Yep.
I don't know if you've got a copy of the figures up there.
I have.
Okay, I'll give it to you after. I'll just read some of them to you. We had, normally we have about between 400, 450 cars there. We had 633 on Saturday.
Nice.
120 pieces of electronics, probably mostly TVs and computers. 245 loads of demo come into the facility, 300 tires, 25 air conditioners, and 5 batteries and 5 propane tanks. So it was a very busy day, and everyone's been in there this week and see the remnants of it sitting there, and still it takes us about a week to get it all into containers and hauled off and stuff. And we will be
I
back.
didn't go over Saturday because I was working, but I went over Sunday. But holy smokes. Yeah, great. I mean, listen, all of that stuff, you know, well, certainly I know causes you guys some work over there, and we thank you for your efforts, but I mean, you gotta remember that all of that stuff was all over town. And I certainly am not trying to indict anybody that might have gone there, but we know historically the stuff that the town charges for, there is a correlation between those items and being out on the back roads and side roads, and every place is a place to pull over. And every bit of it that gets disposed of properly is a good thing, and it didn't end up on the roads.
Absolutely.
I'm always amazed, in the fall, one has been very well received and quite busy as well. Which begs the question, and I'm gonna bring it up again, this is my last year here. I still believe we need to rethink, or at least take another look at the fees that we charge at the dump. These are taxpayers. They are the same people, whether you're taking it out of their left pocket or you're taking it out of their right pocket. I think if you actually look at the net gain at the end of the year, it is very small. We have, over there, eliminated one position at the dump. So now we have just 3 people working over there. We used to have 4. You don't have somebody for the most part in the gatehouse because there isn't the ability to do that. It puts a hardship. We spend thousands of dollars on a regular basis maintaining the scales. I can tell you how many times they've been struck by lightning. There's a bunch of lead or something over there. And these dump days are almost proof. We're doing them every 6 months, and we get deluged with all this stuff. All this stuff was all over town waiting for the free dump day. I still believe that we ought to take a look at the logic of charging the fees that we do. The argument back when they were established was to try to dissuade out-of-town trash from coming in. I believe you do that with the facility permit. You have a dump sticker, and that is what allows you to go in. Maybe it's doing something halfway, where you issue a punch card along with a dump sticker so that each family can throw away 4 tires and a refrigerator and 2 TVs a year or something. But I don't think what we're doing right now is wise. I don't think what we're doing right now is wise. I don't think it works. And I don't think at the end of the day, if you add up what it costs us to collect that and to process it and to have Sue compiling all of that money every day, if you look at what it costs us to collect that money, I don't think at the end of the year you net that. I don't think you net hardly anything.
What's it bringing in here? What are the stickers bringing in the senior fees? Do you know?
The stickers I'm not sure of, but I mean, we average $3,000 to $4,000 a month in revenue from the gate. We can get the actual figures, and why don't you pull those together?
We usually pull those together at the end of every year, so it's easy enough to get that figure for you.
They're online.
I think we still ought to have that conversation. Anything else, Brad?
Nope, that's all I got.
Anything else?
No.
Old business, new business? Anything? Public input? Ash?
The application, how soon will that be made available online?
As soon as they send it to me.
Okay.
I'm not sure who did it.
I think that.
Yeah, so it's on Helen's, not here, so as soon as she gets it to me, I'll put it online.
Okay, great.
She's away. She's on vacation this week, just so you know, so it may be a few days, but
And if I could just get a copy of that in my box, that would be great, in the EDC box.
We should do that. Anybody else? How's the library?
It's good.
Good.
It's quiet today.
Quiet. Okay. Anybody have anything else?
Actually, one question, and I don't expect you to know the exact figures, but do you have a ballpark idea of what the town pays for electricity every year?
I don't. We can pull it together, but it's fragmented out into different budgets. I don't even have an educated guess without pulling it together. I mean, I know, as a for instance, we have a very large electric bill for the water and sewer department because those pumps, pumping all the water.
What is that annually?
1,900.
It's about 2,000, almost 2,000 a month.
Just
So,
under 2,000.
24,000 right there, or pretty close to it, just there. I know we have a hell of a lot of electric bills when you put them all together from a whole bunch of different places, but I don't have an overall figure. One of the things I did hand to Brad, I don't know if you had a chance to talk with him about the LED lights at all.
No, I haven't.
Okay. There is a program which is out right now to convert the incandescent and the fluorescent lights over to LED. There's some grant money available through public service that will underwrite a pretty substantial chunk of that. And at the same time, it will cut your energy consumption by, 60%. So I do think it's definitely worth looking at.
So we have, when we renovated Sap House Meadery, we have 20 panel lights like this, and we did the New Hampshire Saves, because they have it for residential, commercial, industrial, and municipality programs. And we have 20 lights that run off of essentially one light bulb. It's 100 watts for all 20 lights.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's expensive up front, but we got more than half back within about 60 days. I mean, it's paying for itself now.
Sure. And that's the biggest thing is, and the life expectancy of the bulbs is extraordinary. I mean, it's 20 years or something on each bulb.
Another thing. So we're working on that presentation. The EDC is working on the presentation for all the boards, and my part is actually the electrical side of it. And looking at the resources that are available, even the Municipal Association for New Hampshire has a lot of programs and resources that can help the town in other ways save considerable amounts of money, which kind of ties into the sidewalks is kind of where we were going. But I mean, why not apply it to all your buildings?
Yeah. I mean, when you think about here, water department, police department, rec department, highway garage, we have a lot of buildings, we have a lot of light bulbs.
That's the other reason I brought up 2 years ago now, the retrofit of new air conditioners and things over at OCC, because I'm down there all the time, of course, and there are more than 14 window air conditioner units, which is just spinning the dial right off the building, let alone the electrical consumption and concerns that I would have in that building. So yeah, I think it's time to have the town kind of audit what it really spends on electricity and look at programs.
Yeah, this particular guy, Ward's Boat Shop, just did where I work, and just converted all of their buildings over. So I got the guy's card and I've given it to Brad too. And they'll come in and look at this stuff and give you estimates and everything for nothing. It doesn't cost you a cent to have them count.
And the cost of that technology has come down so much in the last 3 to 4 years that it's actually very accessible. And in a large scale, you'll see a return.
Yeah.
The
other thing you might consider doing is reaching out to the precincts, because a lot of people don't understand that they're the ones that are doing all the streetlights.
Right.
At least in Ossipee Corner and Center Ossipee. I don't know that West Ossipee has many, if any. But in both of those, in Center Ossipee and Ossipee Corner, have streetlights that the precincts pay for, which can result in a significant savings if they change those over. So.
Yeah, we had up at Hobbs, there's one light that hangs across the street from us but shines on the building, And of course, we pay the electric bill for that light, and it was about, just that one light's $400 a month. We had to convert that over. I mean, it just made sense. I mean, it's more than most people's electric bill at home, just for one light to shine on a building is ridiculous.
So we are aware of it. Anything you have for information, please get it to Brad.
Well, it'll all come in that presentation. We're finalizing that tonight at our meeting.
Okay, good,
So in the next 2 weeks, you'll be getting a knock on the door here, and it'll be us showing up, so.
good,
We'll
excellent,
have to show.
good. Anybody have anything else? We don't have any need for public, non-public. If there's nothing else, I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.